I'm back with Art Time Fillers Part 2. Here are 5 more activities that you can do to fill the time. For the first activity, you're going to use your non-dominant hand to draw a picture. Try something simple to start with, so I'm usually right-handed and I'm drawing with my left hand instead. I just drew a very simple house, but as you can see, I really struggle drawing straight lines and the way I'm holding the pencil is not correct. I just cannot hold it properly, but this is a really good activity to make your brain focus on what you're drawing, or at least trying to draw in this case. You can use this activity with drawing different lines and shapes as well as a warm-up for an art activity, so you can draw wavy lines, wiggly lines, zigzag lines. It's really good to get your brain into gear. I'm sure a lot of you did this as a child anyway, but this is one of those going back to basics lessons. So the idea is to draw a picture. It could be anything. You could give the children an object to draw, so like an apple, or just draw something from their mind, like I'm drawing here, so I'm drawing a park scene. But the idea is that you don't look at the paper whilst you draw, and you can see how accurate your drawing was. I was actually really pleased with how mine came out. I thought it was a great line drawing. I would happily go over this with a black pen and add some colour. So again, you could add some paint without looking, or add some colouring pencil as well without looking. For this one, you'll need more than 5 minutes. I'd say that you'd need at least 15 minutes. You could do it as a warm-up activity, as a time filler, or you could do it as an actual lesson. You are just going to draw the outline of an object that you're focusing on. I focused on a lantern which was outside in our garden, so you can see that I just draw the outline, and then you're going to fill up the space around it. So the lantern is just going to be an empty shape, and then you're going to draw everything else that you can see around an object. So I can see some plants, I can see the decking and a bench behind it. So draw everything else apart from the object that you're focusing on. I like to incorporate this lesson into something related to photography, because it's like focusing on the negative space around the object. And then that can be related to photograph negatives. This is one of those great activities for getting children to focus on what they are actually seeing rather than what they think they are seeing. So by getting a picture, you could use a book like I am here, or you could have a photo that they've taken, or a magazine, anything, as long as you've got a photo that you can flip upside down, and you're going to get them to draw that object upside down as they're seeing it on the photo. Try and get them to add as much detail as possible, and again, this can be a 5-minute time filler or warm-up exercise, or you can turn this into a whole lesson and add a lot of detail and do several of these. These work really well with portraits as well. I always find that my proportions are slightly wrong when I draw from a resource picture upside down. But it's really good for getting your brain to look at something in a different way and to learn to draw from a different angle. This last exercise is possibly my favourite of the 5 that I've shown you today, because it incorporates not one but 2 important parts of art, and that is value and light and shade. You can start this exercise by getting the children to do a value scale and then asking them to shade at a value of 5, for example. So just shade like I am on here, and then we're going to use a rubber to draw with. You're not allowed to use your pencil to actually draw with. It is probably best to do simple 3D shapes for this activity. I'm doing a sphere, so I'm going to draw a curve with the rubber and show where the light is hitting the top of the ball. And then because we're not allowed to add shadow, we've already got the darkness here, you're going to use the rubber to highlight a contrast of where the shadow would be, if that makes sense. So what I mean by this is where the shadow would be, leave that as the pencil that you shaded with, and then use your rubber around this area of the shadow to rub away some of the pencil, so you're left with a shadowed area. Thanks for watching. Check out my other Art Time Fillers video for more ideas for